Hey there, it's meteorologist Jamie Singleton. It is Tuesday night, May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, 2020. And hard to believe that it's May, and I've got this view widened so you can see what's going to be coming our way. Uh, Polar vortex, the coldest or the lowest heights in the northern hemisphere. Take a thickness of the air at 500 millibars, about halfway up our atmosphere, our lowest layer here. You can measure the amount of cold in the upper levels and lower levels by the thickness and the heights. That gives you an idea of where the cold is, and it will be over us, the eastern northeast United States here as we go into the weekend. This is the pattern as we have it right now, and I'll put the contours on here at 500 millibars so you can get an idea of what's going on. Got a closed low here around Michigan here, and you've got some short waves embedded within this flow that's out of the northwest. Got a little bit of a weak ridge off to the west coast, but still moisture coming into California, Washington, and Oregon. Got a front that extends from this low down across, just now moving into Virginia and North Carolina. The tail end of it's down here across Texas and Louisiana, where there's some 4 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Severe thunderstorm watch probably will be lifted soon for North Carolina. This is where we had a warm front today as cooler rain was creating a wedge of colder air, and also got a bit of a stream here from the northern jet stream combining fluence there off the coast of the northeast, and that creates high pressure, which helps keep that cool air locked in place. Looks like we'll have maybe parts of this eroding tomorrow, but we've got more energy coming out of the northwest night. That's bringing a few showers to Virginia and North Carolina, and you can see the lightning as I speak. Maybe you're talking too. Down here across North Carolina, also down in East Texas. This is how it looks. I've got the Blacksburg local radar up, and we are getting some showers near my location. I'm in Franklin County, Roanoke's here. More showers around Lynchburg, and some thunderstorm activity south of Danville into Caswell and Person counties, North Carolina, Rockingham County as well. Still got the low out here again, but our major convective threat today was where you see the severe thunderstorm watch, and they had up to 3 inches diameter hail around Darlington this evening, with yet another tornado warning out for South Carolina earlier. So it's been a very active couple of days for our friends in the Carolinas. And if you live in this area north of Columbia and just south of Charlotte, southeast of Charlotte, you know what I'm talking about. Been some tremendous hailstorms, and today was no different. I mean, 2.5 to 3 inches diameter hail. That's impressive. Just a lot of rain and lightning from Fayetteville, North Carolina, just north of Wilmington. Some of these storms may be locally strong as they continue to work their way toward the coast, but it looks like the real severe stuff is trying to die down, although this remains an environment that's somewhat favorable for severe weather. Anything that moves across our area in Virginia and northwest North Carolina will likely be elevated, not based at the surface, but still some heavy rain and thunder, lightning, and maybe some gusty winds as well. To the north, you've got some lighter precipitation, but some isolated thunder here and some hailers with some very cold air aloft working itself into this deep trough, as we mentioned, and that'll continue to bring showers to the mid-Atlantic for the day tomorrow. Look at the cold cloud tops here. We really saw a bit of a break most of the day up across Virginia and North Carolina in regards to our rain that we had in Virginia was this morning, and where I'm at, we waited all day for the rain to redevelop, and now it's occurring tonight as we finally have the lift mechanism coming into our area. And we've also got the storms that are moving off to the east now. That's allowing our lift back here across Chattanooga and this area across Tennessee and then Kentucky to regenerate some of the cloud patterns here. And you can see the cloud pattern showing a leafy structure there. That's an indication of development, strengthening in terms of lift. Look at the hail track here. This is what I wanted to show you here off of radar Omega. 1.7-inch hail, 1.5-inch hail north of Travelers Rest. And then you get south of Spartanburg. They had it hit hard yesterday, 1.2-inch hail. You can follow this cell as it moved across South Carolina. And as you got out here to Lancaster County, 1.7-inch hail. And this is where it gets crazy. Hartsville, 3-inch hail in Darlington County. Then just to the southeast toward Darlington, you had 2.5 to 3-inch hail, 2 to 3-inch hail. They're calling it 2.5 on the LSR there. Incredible, incredible. And there's your updraft still occurring, and that storm is now just into more of an elevated area where the surface cooler air. Check out this pattern here. First, show you the SPC outlook. This is for the rest of this evening into tonight. We still have a slight risk where you see just all those storms, and you've got some general thunderstorms here off to the coast, Outer Banks mainly, and into Florida. Day 3, start to see the Red River Valley open back up with a slight risk of severe weather. Here's a satellite picture of that activity that we see it right now. The brighter cloud top showing us where everything's blossoming up into the air. Dense fog north of here was going to be a big thing tonight. Whenever we get a wedge, typically have some severe weather on the edge of the wedge, and you can have some very thick fog as the warmer air aloft tries to come in. But now we're expecting colder air aloft, Virginia. Regardless, it could be foggy before that mixes out. And even though we're going to mix out of the wedge tomorrow across a good part of the Old Dominion, we're still going to be cool because of the cloud cover and the rain showers. Here's how the upper levels look here. And this takes us into tomorrow. Look at the height anomalies increasing with our next short wave. And again, it's all embedded. It's like a fidget spinner here across the Northeast. You've got these lobes that are circulating around each other. That typically happens when you get a cold pattern like this. It's typically in the wintertime, though, but it can happen. Now, as this trough comes across West Virginia, it's going to lower the snow levels down to about 3,000 feet or so. So there are going to be some areas that get accumulating snow, possibly in the grassy areas across the Greenbrier Valley. It may be hard to do because it's May, but I'll tell you, the air's certainly cold enough for it to fall. As we go into Wednesday evening, that trough moves across the Delmarva. You've got another bowling ball here of energy across the Hudson Bay. That's going to be taking a dive southward here. So if you look at the actual contours, we go more zonal Thursday and the Friday, so it may be a brief warm-up, but just as soon as that occurs, we never get back to normal. We stay about 10 degrees below normal at our warmest. And then as we go into Friday, second lobe here comes around with this is the actual polar vortex right here. And all that is just the lowest height that we can find at 500 millibars. So I was about to say pressure, but if you're in college and you're studying meteorology and you're doing a math discussion, don't fall for it. You get the trick question. What's the pressure in that low? It's 500 millibars. It's a height chart. Anyway, that's here. See that dig across the Northeast becomes negatively tilted here. There may be some good snow come Saturday in the areas of Maine and New Hampshire and Massachusetts. Something to watch for the weekend. South of there, we'll have a strong front going through the Carolinas and the Mid-Atlantic. That'll probably reach all the way to the south, so some showers and storms ahead of it Friday and the Saturday morning. Behind it, got a lot of confluence here. This screams wind at me when I see the contours coming together like that. Get that verging air aloft. It's going to bring down some powerful wind because you're going to go from temperatures in the 60s to in the 30s behind this front. That'll probably be right along the mountains, mountain chain of the Blue Ridge here Saturday morning. As you go in the Saturday night into Mother's Day, the flow relaxes a little bit. It'll still be a very cold Mother's Day morning with the threat of some frost and freeze across a good part of the area as we go into Saturday night. And really Friday night, your winds are going to be more stirred up. You're not going to have frost, but you're still going to have the freeze. Then after the weekend, after a little bit of a warm-up Sunday afternoon, more energy here. Now, the whole thing is starting to lift a little bit, the long wave pattern a little bit farther north, but we still have these vortices within that flow. And there comes another one Monday into Tuesday. This is going to bring another cold front through, but it will likely be dry, just a few showers along it. Then look, a ridge coming up here by May the 15th. We'll wait and see if that's accurate. But that would make sense. The weather kind of goes back and forth sometimes. It's been one cold streak here lately. This is the storm system tonight. got this part of the storm that would have exited the area tonight had it not been for you meddling kids and your second shortwave back here that's got a surface reflection of the showers here for Wednesday. So now it looks like Wednesday will be a bit more showery than it was looking just a couple of days ago across Virginia, especially West Virginia up to DC. It's just a rainy day once again. More broken showers and broken clouds in between, and just partly cloudy skies to the south where you don't have any green in the Carolinas. But look at our pinks here showing up, and that is where a mix is likely, according to the Weather Prediction Center. But we are looking at snow on the computer models. I'm inclined to believe we'll see a few flakes across Greenbrier County. It'll just be on the mountain peaks, probably. But a few flurries could make it into the Virginia mountains and the North Carolina mountains as well Wednesday, and then again Friday night and Saturday. Our system finally, this is system one, really. We'll call it that. And then Thursday and the Thursday and the late Thursday, it's a quiet little stretch, except where our next system's coming out of Oklahoma, Texas. That links up with our next strong cold front. And look, the rain changes over the snow around Rochester here. And as you go around Buffalo, New York, got the front, some showers and some heavy rainfall locally Friday. Now, Saturday, that front is way off to the east. So at some point in between these two maps, 8 a.m. Friday, 8 a.m. Saturday, there will be a changeover from rain to snow showers. I'll show you that on the modeling in just a second. There's that third lobe that comes through the Great Lakes, moisture starved, for Sunday and the Monday and Mother's Day. And then a fresh supply of cool air comes in once again. Here in Virginia, we'll be at our most, we'll be about 50 degrees for the high on Saturday, with temperatures 25 degrees below normal, lower normal of 75, 25 degrees. Here's the Canadian model. See our, notice the dashed lines. This is basically where our second trough is, and you can see it there. So it's still way off to the west. So you've got a disconnected system. You've got a surface low off to the east by tomorrow morning, and then you've got the upper energy lagging behind here. It's not really lagging as much as it is a second area of energy. And that sharpens up. The colder air goes south, and that pulls the trough a little bit deeper, and it's all a result of the overall pattern that's still blocking everything up. So these waves are intensifying, and this will be a strengthening wave that moves across our area tomorrow through Virginia and the Pennsylvania here to Keystone State. I mentioned we go back to a west wind Thursday into Friday, but at the same time, Friday, here comes our front and snow on the back side here. You've got a surface low around New York City. There's some interior snowfall. May the 9th. Look at all that snow through parts of Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont, Finger Lakes here, even down across West Virginia. And this precipitation is going to be falling in some 534 thickness. So that could be snow as well, even though the model is green and rain. Very windy as well, as I mentioned, that system. Here's the SREF, and this is something I like to use when forecasting snowfall. You can see it's got a little hint. This is a blend of about 51 different model solutions here, showing a little bit of a bullseye there in the Pocahontas and Greenbrier counties, West Virginia, with our first dose of cold air tomorrow. And then as we go into Friday and Saturday, a much larger area of potential 1-inch snow. I'd say an inch or less on the grassy areas because it is May after all, but it's probably going to stick in the mountains of West Virginia. And it will be interesting to see how much snow the Northeast gets here as we go into Saturday as well. These numbers are fairly impressive. You got to remember, it's May 9th, and you're seeing an average of 1 to 2-inch snowfall here in that green area. And look how far south it's getting, Virginia. Just impressive to even see that on the model. Another way to look at this is the actual heights themselves. A lot of folks like to, and I like to look at the anomalies, but these are the actual values of the heights. And that shows the blue area being the polar vortex, the really low numbers here at 519. I'm just watching in amazement. There goes one short wave. Here comes the next. actual upper low gets stacked here. It never really goes that far south until about Saturday when it clips the northeast here. But it's the flow around it. See, these wind arrows around it are bringing down that Canadian air, that polar air. And again, I anticipate some possibly damaging wind events here across the mountains. So these mountains will grab that wind and will probably be very unstable. Saturday in the Saturday afternoon across Virginia. We won't get storms as much as we'll see a lot of mixing going on because we'll have so much cold air aloft and that strong May sunshine, and there'll be some currents that will be rising and falling with that bubble theory there. So that's going to bring down those higher winds down to the ground. Plus, you've got the convergence pushing it down to the ground as well. So I'm really focusing in now on, as I'm talking to you, on the wind potential here coming. Our heights continue to fall, although the main trough begins to lift up a little bit. It's still a westerly pattern here, and then a ridge comes back. But that's going to feel good. It verifies by the 15th. The dynamic tropopause is another way to look at what we just saw, the heights. This is an alternative way of looking at it. We use the equation, all kinds of things here, static stability and potential vorticity, and it basically shows us where the atmosphere is dipping and jet stream level, where things are sinking and rising and all that stuff. So you can see the massive vortex here up across the Hudson Bay, and you can see that trough shows up very good too tomorrow. Doesn't get through us until Thursday morning, and then another little wave comes through here Thursday morning. See the individual lobes in white with this polar vortex. Looks like a hurricane, but it's not anywhere close to that. It's definitely a cold core system. Weak ridging coming in for Thursday and a Thursday night. Then you see this sharpen up here towards Saturday. Look at the values drop off there across the north. So this is going to bring some snow in, I think, for the northeast. Interesting stuff. Here's the Euro. Rain across the area today. Changes over to a little bit of snow tomorrow. Emphasis probably tomorrow in a little bit. But then look at this. This is Friday evening. So you've got the showers and storms, and look at the heavier snow showing up in West Virginia here and to Pennsylvania. Snow getting all the way down into North Carolina and Tennessee, Floyd County, Virginia. Allegheny Highlands will be getting snow with this. Your 32-degree isotherm across the Allegheny Highlands. That's some potential. See, that's Friday night. Potential for a flash freeze, I would say, too, with that. We'll wait and see. I mean, the surface temperatures are going to be very, that's right. Surface temperatures are going to be still. That's interesting stuff. So that's a fair amount of snow for May. Any snow is a fair amount of snow for May. That deteriorates again going Saturday afternoon. Some drier air works in. So these accumulations are guesses from the model. I don't think there's going to be 1.5 feet of snow in Maine. There's probably going to be some accumulating snow. This gives you an idea of where those accumulations could be. Don't focus on the number as much, but just focus on where you're seeing it. That's down across the Greenbrier Valley, again, of West Virginia. Notice it doesn't go very far into Virginia. Good part of Pennsylvania and all of New York State, some snow just outside of the city there. Then as your surface low cranks up, you have the potential of some accumulating snow here, some fairly impressive amounts through New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Here's a closer look at Virginia. You can see Greenbrier County here. Couple of inches, up to 6 inches on the model. This is our 850 millibar temperature at 5,000 feet. The departures from average. So this is tomorrow, and again, we're way below normal this time of the year. Look at our second area. The second area will be the strongest area of cold air that comes down. This is the mother lode, Saturday. This is not valued temperatures. These are temperatures here at the normal at 5,000 feet, so we can see the movement of the air masses. Then you get another third round of cold that comes in here Monday and the Tuesday. And I say cold because, yeah, it is going to be cold for this time of the year. Highs not making it out of the 40s and 50s and even the 30s in the mountains. Finally, we get a return to a westerly flow aloft and some warmer than average air coming in at 5,000 feet. And that's going to feel pretty good by mid May. The GFS and the Euro are actually in pretty good agreement lately. So we'll see how that stacks up. That's your map discussion for this Tuesday evening. I'll be back tomorrow with another update.